Picture this: you walk into a room, and without saying a single word, she notices you, not because of what you're wearing, not because of your looks, not even because of what you say. It's something different, something invisible, something magnetic. And here's the part that most men never realize. It's not about chasing her. It's not about trying to be who you think she wants. It's about one thing that changes everything. And when you understand this, you'll stop wondering how to attract women, because you'll naturally become the kind of man they cannot ignore. You see, most men think attraction is about putting on a performance, being the loudest, the funniest, the one who tries the hardest to prove his worth. But here's the paradox: the harder you try to be noticed, the less magnetic you become. What truly pulls a woman in is not the noise you make, but the presence you carry. It's the way you walk into a room and own your space without needing to dominate it. It's the way you make eye contact that lingers just enough to spark curiosity, but not so much that it screams desperation. It's the calm confidence that says, "I don't need to chase approval because I already know my value." That presence creates a quiet power, and when a woman feels it, she can't help but lean in, because it's rare, it's grounded, and it makes her wonder, who is this man? Confidence is one of those things that every man talks about, but very few actually embody. The mistake most guys make is confusing confidence with arrogance. Arrogance is loud, it needs attention, it's fueled by insecurity. Real confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It shows up in the way you move, in the way you listen, in the way you don't rush to fill every silence with words. It's knowing you don't have to be the most handsome man in the room or the richest man in the room. You just have to be the man who is comfortable in his own skin. That comfort is magnetic. A woman can sense it instantly. She feels it in the steadiness of your voice, in the relaxed way you carry yourself, in the way you don't crumble under the pressure of her beauty or her attention. Confidence isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about not needing to compare yourself to anyone at all. And that is what makes her feel she's in the presence of someone truly rare. When a man respects himself, everything changes. You can't expect someone else to value you if you're constantly showing that you don't value yourself. And this is where so many men get it wrong. They put a woman on a pedestal and forget to keep one for themselves. Self-respect is magnetic because it shows up in the choices you make. It's in how you treat your time, how you let people speak to you, how you decide what you will and will not tolerate. When you respect yourself, you don't chase someone who's giving you crumbs of attention. You step back because you know your energy is too valuable to waste. And here's the fascinating part. When a woman sees that you're willing to walk away from anything that doesn't meet your standard, her respect for you skyrockets. She feels your strength without you even saying a word. It's not about being harsh, it's about being clear. And that clarity tells her you're a man who knows his worth, and that makes you someone she can't help but be drawn to. Scarcity is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. We value what isn't easy to get, what feels rare, what not everyone can have. And this is where attraction becomes so fascinating, when a man gives away all of his time, all of his energy, all of his attention to anyone who asks for it. He loses his value. But when he's intentional, when he's selective, when he chooses carefully who gets his focus, that focus becomes a gift. A woman can feel the difference. If you're available to everyone, you're special to no one. But when she realizes that your attention isn't something you hand out freely, When she sees that you don't give your energy away just to be liked, she leans in harder because she knows it means something when you choose her. It's not about playing games, it's about living with standards, and those standards make you rare, and rarity is magnetic. A man with direction is like a lighthouse, steady, clear, impossible to ignore. When you know where you're going in life, you carry an energy that says, I don't need someone else to complete me, I'm already on my path. And that's magnetic, because here's the truth. Women aren't looking for someone to rescue them. They're looking for someone who inspires them, someone whose vision makes them want to rise higher. A man with purpose doesn't get lost in distractions. He doesn't crumble when things get tough, because his compass is set. And when a woman feels that, when she sees that you wake up every day with drive, with intention, with something that pulls you forward, she can't help but be drawn in. She knows you're not drifting, you're building, and that sense of certainty, that clarity of direction, is like oxygen in a world where most people are just wandering. What truly pulls someone in isn't the image you project, it's the authenticity you embody. Too many men think they need to put on a mask, pretend to be tougher, cooler, richer, smoother than they really are. But here's the problem. When you hide behind an image, she might be intrigued for a moment, but eventually she sees through it. And when she does, the attraction disappears. Authenticity, on the other hand, is magnetic because it's rare. It takes courage to be real in a world obsessed with appearances. When you're honest about who you are, when you own your strengths without downplaying them, and your flaws without apologizing for them, you create trust. And trust is the foundation of attraction. A woman feels safe around a man who isn't pretending because she knows what she's getting is real. And the moment she senses that, she doesn't just notice you. She feels drawn to you in a way she can't fully explain. Emotional security is one of the most underrated forms of attraction. Yet it's the very thing that makes a woman feel she can truly let her guard down with you. Think about it. Anyone can be fun when things are going well. But how do you show up when life gets messy? Do you panic? Do you lash out? Do you crumble under pressure? Or do you stay grounded, steady, calm in the storm? A man who can hold his center when the world feels uncertain is incredibly rare, and that rarity makes him magnetic. When a woman sees that you don't get rattled by her mood swings, that you don't lose your cool when plans change, that you don't fall apart just because things didn't go your way, she feels safe. And safety doesn't mean boring. It means she can finally relax and trust you. And when a woman feels safe, that's when real attraction deepens, because she's not just drawn to your looks or your charm, she's drawn to the stability of your presence. Boundaries are one of the most powerful signals of self-worth a man can send. Too many guys think saying yes to everything makes them more lovable, but in reality, it makes them invisible. A man without boundaries becomes predictable, forgettable, easy to take for granted. But when you know where your lines are, when you're clear about what you'll tolerate and what you won't, you immediately stand out, because it shows strength. It shows that you're not afraid to lose someone in order to stay true to yourself. And that kind of clarity is rare. A woman doesn't feel attraction for the man who bends to every demand. She feels it for the man who can gently but firmly say, "No, that doesn't work for me." It's not about being cold or rigid. It's about respecting yourself enough to protect your energy. And the moment she sees that, she realizes she can trust you to protect her too. That trust creates intrigue. And that intrigue creates a pull she can't resist. Certainty is one of the most magnetic traits a man can have, because in a world full of hesitation and second guessing, Certainty stands out like a flame in the dark. Most men live in doubt. They doubt their decisions. They doubt their worth. They doubt how to act around women. But the man who knows who he is, who knows what he stands for, who doesn't waver every time someone questions him, that man becomes unforgettable. Certainty doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you trust yourself enough to move forward, even when you don't. And that energy is powerful. When a woman feels that you won't collapse under pressure, that you won't abandon your values just to please her, she feels something rare. She feels she can rely on you. And reliability in a man is intoxicating because it makes her feel like she's with someone who can handle life, handle challenges, and handle her heart without running. That steadiness is what turns attraction into something deeper, because certainty is the foundation of desire. The most magnetic version of you isn't the one who tries to copy what someone else is doing. It's not the man who wears the mask of confidence, or the man who hides behind money, cars, or status. It's the man who has the courage to be himself fully, unapologetically, consistently. Because here's the truth. Attraction is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about unlocking the person you already are but have been afraid to show the world. And that fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, that's what kills attraction faster than anything else. Think about it. How many men spend their lives twisting themselves into knots, molding their personality to fit what they think she wants? One woman likes guys who are adventurous, so suddenly he's talking about skydiving when he's never even been on a roller coaster. Another woman likes ambitious men, so he's bragging about dreams he hasn't taken a single step toward. But the irony is this: the more you shift for approval, the more you lose the very essence that would have made you attractive in the first place. Authenticity is the rarest currency, and when you spend it freely, it makes you magnetic. Being yourself fully doesn't mean being stagnant. It doesn't mean shrugging and saying, well, this is just who I am, as an excuse not to grow. No. It means stripping away the layers of insecurity, the masks of performance, the desperate need to be liked, until what's left is real. Because the real you, the one who has passions, quirks, strengths, even flaws, is infinitely more compelling than the polished, perfect version you try to perform. And here's why: women don't want perfection, they want truth. They want a man whose energy feels trustworthy, solid, genuine. Perfection intimidates, but authenticity inspires. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're sitting across from a woman you're deeply attracted to. Most men in that moment are calculating. What should I say? How should I sit? How do I look? How do I come across? And the more you calculate, the less present you are. She can feel it. She senses that you're not really there with her. You're performing for her. Now imagine instead that you drop the performance. You allow yourself to be curious about her instead of being consumed by how you appear. You allow your humor to come through naturally without forcing a joke. You don't hide your nerves, but you don't let them control you either. You are simply present, engaged, real. That's the moment she feels a connection not to the character you're playing, but to the man you really are. This is what so many men miss. They think women are attracted to some universal checklist: tall, dark, handsome, rich, confident, smooth. But attraction is far more nuanced. Women aren't magnetically drawn to a type. They're magnetically drawn to truth, to energy, to the alignment between who you say you are and how you actually show up. When those things match, you radiate integrity. And integrity is intoxicating. Being yourself fully also means embracing your direction, your passions, your values, and letting them guide you. A man without values is like a boat without a rudder. He may drift for a while, but eventually he crashes. But when you live according to what you believe in, you exude certainty, and we already know certainty is magnetic. When she sees you stand by your word, when she feels that you live by principles, she knows she's not just with a man who's trying to impress her. She's with a man she can believe in. That belief creates depth. Now let's go deeper. Most men think their flaws are liabilities. They think, if she sees that I'm shy, if she sees that I failed before, if she sees that I don't have everything figured out, she won't want me. But the truth, your flaws, when owned with confidence, are part of what makes you human, and humanity is what creates connection. Pretending you're perfect makes you unrelatable. Owning your imperfections makes you compelling. If you've failed before, but you're still standing, that's resilience. If you've been shy, but you lean into moments of courage anyway, that's strength. If you don't have all the answers, but you're committed to growth, that's power. Women aren't drawn to the illusion of perfection. They're drawn to the courage of honesty. What does being yourself fully look like in practice? It looks like not apologizing for your passions. If you love what you do, talk about it with fire in your voice. Don't water it down to seem cooler. It looks like not shrinking when someone else disagrees with you. If you believe something, say it respectfully but stand by it. It looks like not pretending to be indifferent when you care. If you like her, show her without shame or fear of looking needy. Needy isn't showing you care, needy is abandoning yourself in the process. True confidence is expressing what you feel while still holding on to who you are. And here's another secret. Being yourself fully also means giving yourself permission to be bold. Not reckless, not careless, but bold enough to take risks. Too many men hide behind a facade of politeness, waiting for permission, waiting for the perfect moment. But attraction doesn't live in hesitation, it lives in action. When you lean in for the kiss because you feel the moment, when you express your interest clearly instead of hinting, when you set plans with certainty instead of vague suggestions, you show her that you trust yourself. That boldness is an extension of authenticity. You're not bold because you're faking confidence. You're bold because you're aligned with your truth, and you trust it enough to act. There's a shift that happens when you stop chasing approval and start living in your authentic power. Suddenly, you're not worried about whether she likes you. You're more focused on whether you like her, whether she aligns with your values, whether she fits into the life you're already building. And that shift changes everything, because when you stop auditioning for women and start evaluating whether they deserve a place in your story, you flip the script. You're no longer the man begging to be chosen. You're the man who does the choosing, and women feel that energy instantly. It doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from self-respect, and self-respect is magnetic. Being yourself fully doesn't mean everyone will like you. In fact, it guarantees that some people won't, but here's the beauty, the right ones will. The right woman won't just be attracted to you. She'll feel safe, seen, inspired because you're not hiding. She'll feel the steadiness of your presence, the certainty of your values, the boldness of your truth. And that combination makes you unforgettable. And let's not forget, this isn't just about attracting women. This is about attracting opportunities, respect, friendships, and a life that feels aligned. Because when you're real, you naturally draw in what's meant for you and repel what isn't. When you fake, you may get temporary attention, but it never lasts. When you're authentic, you get lasting impact because people trust what's real. Every man in this world has a choice to chase approval or to step into authenticity, to perform or to embody, to be a copy or to be original. And here's what's crazy: most men will spend their lives choosing the copy, chasing validation, hiding behind masks, and wondering why they're invisible. But the few who choose authenticity, who embrace being themselves fully, who stop apologizing for their passions, their values, their truth, those men shine. And shining is magnetic. So the real question is this: are you ready to stop being the man who performs for love and start being the man who attracts it naturally by being himself completely? Because when you do, you'll notice something incredible. You won't just win her attention, you'll win her respect. You won't just capture her interest, you'll capture her heart, and not because you tried harder, but because you finally allowed yourself to be seen for who you really are. That's the secret, that's the shift, that's the moment you stop chasing attraction and start living as the man women can't ignore. And here's the truth to leave you with: women aren't magnetically attracted to the man who chases, performs, or bends himself out of shape just to be liked. They're drawn to the man who stands in his own power, who knows his worth, who sets his boundaries, who leads with direction, who lives authentically without apology. That kind of man doesn't have to beg for attention, he commands it. He doesn't have to prove he's enough. He shows it simply by being real. And when you step into that version of yourself, you won't just attract women. You'll attract a life that feels bigger, richer, and truer to who you are meant to be. Because in the end, the greatest magnetism comes from living as the most honest, unapologetic, powerful version of you.